looking in the mirror of time. Our pain comes from betrayal. Betrayal is perpetrated and perpetuated. Betrayal is simply a betrayal of the truth, a truth we discover as we live, a truth that is conveyed to us through our emotions, though often misunderstood or ignored. A truth that we eventually come to find is within us all along. We're born into this world that is playing songs of the innocent, the ignorant, reverent, and bitterly indignant. We are loved to the best of the ability of those we come into, for better and for worse, and we add to the song with our response. You live and you learn and reproduce it with your own twist, much like a game of telephone. How should we establish or re-establish, produce or reproduce the truth? I propose that rather than going straight to argument and debate from a place of looking to draw upon experience, we should first acknowledge that the best foundational perspective of truth that we have is from birth through early childhood, when we are freshly innocent. In my personal understanding at present, we are all born with the inherited knowledge that makes up the physical body through DNA, containing healthy and corrupt information with potential to be expressed, and a soul from the spirit that is pure and unbiased, and contains the context with which our experience here is intended to be interpreted, and we judge and are judged according to that standard. That's why we experience emotions and convictions. They guide us and imply the opportunity to choose what we create. Without emotions, our view of life and the appreciation of it would be mundane, and the frequency a flat line in the waveforms, everything as good as dead, blending together due to no particular variation of value. If our emotions are the guide, then why does it seem as though many struggle to understand or express them? They are able to guide our decisions and help us to create exactly what we want. So if it's up to us, we should just be able to feel good about it, all set and ready to go, right? Well, it gets complicated because we are one of many that need to harmonize. Our emotions indicate to us that the true context or standard that they are conveying includes and takes everything into account. Our personal needs and desires are interlocked with all of creation. We move and flow, pushing and pulling each other in a dance, and we're dancing to the songs of everything, everywhere, all at once. Because of this and our soul connection, we are subconsciously aware of how much our inner ideal picture is incongruent with or incompatible with the world at any point which we currently experience it. The passion and the pain we feel when acknowledging this discrepancy can be overwhelming without the understanding of our power. Things aren't fair, nobody cares about you yet, and you feel at risk when connecting because trusting the wrong person at the wrong time comes at a cost. The toll it all takes creates the bitterness and hopelessness we feel when we seem so far from where we want to be. How we can respond to these feelings is what matters and makes the difference, and our beliefs which shape our perspective is what will govern our response. What if the cost doesn't have to be a loss, but we can instead transmute it into creations? For this to be possible, we need to develop a loving relationship and outlook towards the process of life itself. Believing in the truth that we possess the gift of being part of the process of creation is the foundation of this power. In practice, the love that was chosen by another and given to us is what affirms this, and the sharing of love that we choose to give back out is what confirms and maintains this. If we're unable to reconcile these differences for any reason, our potential remains lost and unrealized, or unmanifested. Transmutation applied emotionally is a process of honoring the value of something and choosing forgiveness, effectively turning what felt like a loss or a cost into a salvation of, or even profit or gain. So start by remembering and loving the gift of creation that you both are and possess. Then you may participate in that process of life again, seeing yourself as part of it. Then by beginning one-on-one and in small groups, choosing to confide in and closely coordinate with others by offering ourselves honestly and authentically, we can harmonize our entrusted ideal visions into something clear and therefore strong enough in amplitude to cascade out and change our world on a larger scale. When you're alone, anything can seem impossible and feel like you have to defend it yourself. If betrayal was what cut us off or caused us to separate ourselves off to prevent further pain to begin with, then forgiveness is what we should choose, lest we mistakenly perpetuate the pain and betray our own self instead. Together, we are strong, becoming each other's strength. Anything can feel possible when we can rely on others to defend and support us, and when they can rely on you the same. The more that we can trust and invest in ourselves and each other, the stronger our faith and fidelity, and the more we can be dedicated and consistent. Here we can see that the potential for our fulfillment and true happiness is actually possible. The potential that we first subconsciously knew required togetherness in order to achieve. Now that we are together, we can actually manifest it. The earth has its own theme song, created by the people. We, as individuals born in our time, can affect the theme song of the whole earth within our lifetime. But in order to do so, we need to reconnect. It starts small, as in the point of personal decision, because change must be consciously intended and decided, and then effectively communicated and agreed upon. If we don't first choose for ourselves to see ourselves as part of our experience, it will feel as though we're only at the mercy of forces beyond our control, continuing to live out patterns and loops, and listening to songs that we don't actually want to hear. Change and movement occur automatically, whether we are consciously directing our choices or not, and this is also for better or for worse. It's a beautiful thing not to have to be constantly fully aware, but to be able to rest in faith and be carried by the current. Sometimes going with the flow feels pleasant and graceful, and other times it feels like we're drowning under the surface or being bombarded by crashing waves. We have the ability to become conscious of how and why we are affected, but the current lifestyle, systems, and general composition of society that we're experiencing now has people in an unconscious or passive state more frequently. The peaceful state of flow is good for when things are right, but that same passive state when things are terribly wrong and need to be addressed is not good. The wisdom required to find the balance is our intuition. Intuition is our knowing of what is right without having to think about it. If we can begin to do what we know is right immediately instead of putting it off, we can find that flow and start to rebuild trust. Whether by ignorance due to deception or neglect, or by the hardening of our hearts over time, we're in this position because we're unconscious of or not choosing to wield our power. The power of love and creation, and the truth of our greater connectedness as I've been describing. We have free will to choose to love, or to cut off and use and conspire against. And there are occurrences of both and their consequences. Even if we begin in darkness, ignorant of what our actions will produce, we bear the light and therefore discover through consequence all the same. And the more we serve light, the more that love grows. Some have gone rogue and chosen to purposely lie and deceive in order to profit at the expense of others. This deceit has caused a mass effect of collective discord and confusion. But in conspiring or cutting off from the whole and enacting any other will that requires sacrificing, stealing, or deceiving others, you are doing so unto your own self and your own body, because we are one in context of life's greater plan. Eventually and naturally, all threats or disease die off and are removed from the body. The same is true for our shared body. Disease is only allowed to persist if we actively resist or choose to reinforce the causes of it. In truth, we have the cures to every disease. Our hope for harmony and for all of our desires to be made manifest is realized through faithfulness to that pure standard from our soul from spirit, the standard we have inherited from beyond this world, with which we judge the world. In choosing to reflect the truth, we'll experience the truth, healing from all of the confusion and the discord. This life is temporary for a reason. Living in a world with darkness is showing us the power of the light, but it is a means to that end. We are meant to live in love, cherishing and redeeming our time and filling it with treasures we can all share, creating things from our shared vision for each other's sake that can be passed down to those born after us and still to come. We are meant to freely give and receive, to have and to hold with gratitude and reverence. We are not meant to continue in offensiveness, to rigidly control and seize things by force, to hoard or steal at the expense or sacrifice of others. This way of being comes when you do not see yourself as part of or connected to those around you, therefore living in fear or malice. The answer to this will always be to forgive, to receive forgiveness, and know that you are forgiven. We can bear the light with honor. We can intentionally choose to love, forgive, serve, and protect against offense or the causes of it, and create a more beautiful song to enjoy in the present and for the innocent to be born into. To do this is our pleasure, and it is our reward. It is our reason for being. And when we return to this, we'll find ourselves again, our true selves and our true happiness. The mirror of time will cause us all to confront ourselves. While you live and breathe, whether the face you see is one of blessing or misery, depends on thee. And luckily, your other me is delivering this message. For when we love each other, we are loved. We are blessed in both giving and receiving. I am blessed in giving this message, and you are blessed when you receive it. Good faithfulness to the truth, if we are to choose it, must include each other. We have to reflect and communicate honestly and authentically in order to collaborate. And with consistency, we build trust. Discontinue the old dance, avoid dance. It was but a calling to us to create. We are the ones we are looking for. The hope that we have is innate. So be patient in the promise, in the knowing of what it's all for. We are right here and right now, ever ready to begin.